I went to bed with my face looking good, battling with two pimples, but it was fine. It wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and my face was triple the size. I could hardly look at myself in the mirror.
Oh.
I walked past mirrors. Thank you. Thank you for bringing light onto the subject that is so controversial because everyone strives for an image of perfection. That is the beauty standard.
Hi, Powered Up family, and welcome to another episode of Powered Up Talk with me, Izal. With me in studio, I have the beautiful Tristan Fisher, who is a lifestyle content creator. Welcome, Tristan. We are honored to have you here with us. We're going to have an amazing time.
Thank you so much for having me for this opportunity.
Awesome. So you sent me your bio and I read this and I was like, I'm so inspired by you. Like, I've been following you on Instagram and I've known you personally as well, but you are such a young, vibrant, inspiring young lady. So I'm going to read your bio just so the audience knows how phenomenal you are as well. So it says here, her journey began in 2021 when she made the decision to transform the beauty industry by sharing her personal experience with acne. After undergoing life-saving surgeries, removing her gallbladder and spleen, like wow, she found herself grappling with insecurities over the scars on her stomach, feeling ashamed of what set her apart from the social media norm. She then was blindsided by cystic acne that completely transformed her face overnight. This new challenge sent her into a deeper spiral of isolation and depression, making even daily interactions unbearable. She could hardly stand to see the concern on her parents' eyes because it only reminded her of her own insecurities. But it was her father's unwavering reassurance and her mother's steadfast love that sparked a flicker of courage within her. Encouraged by her support, she chose to share her journey online, a journey that transcends acne, scars, and social expectations. This is a story of rediscovering true beauty and embracing self-love. She's about understanding that real beauty shines from within, no matter the challenges we face. It's a journey of hope, acceptance, and finding strength in vulnerability. And I absolutely love that. I love the fact that you are a content creator that is so authentic, that is so real. And I think even amongst the Gen Zs, it is so needed, especially being on the social platforms where it creates this persona of perfection.
Yeah.
You coming and you really just being vulnerable and being real. And I love that about you.
Thank
But
you.
welcome again and thank you for being with us. Tell us a little bit about your social media journey and where it all started for you.
Sure. So thank you for the introduction. I think it summed it up. But just to give a bit more detail, I went for two surgeries to have my gallbladder removed and my spleen removed. And on July 2nd, I went to bed with my face looking good, battling with two pimples, but it was fine. It wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and my face was triple the size and I had all this inflamed acne under my skin. But that definitely sent me into a space of feeling insecure because I've dealt with acne since I was 13, but it was always little bumps here and there. You cover it up with concealer when you go to school. It was that type of, it wasn't a life-changing amount of acne that I'd previously dealt with.
Yeah.
But this time around, I could hardly look at myself in the mirror.
Oh.
I walked past mirrors. I couldn't even open up my phone So I decided to film my acne journey just for myself so that I could look at the progress, basically. There was never an intention to post it. And later down the line, I think 3, 4, maybe even 6 months of creating short snippets of my progress, going to my skin appointments, microneedling sessions, skin peels and all of that. I documented the process.
Yeah.
And my father said to me, just post it. Turn something negative into a positive. You don't know who you're going to inspire and you don't know who else needs this, who else needs you to be a voice for them?
Yes.
So that is exactly what I did. And I compiled the video. It sat in my gallery for about a week, and I was so hesitant to post it because
I'm so glad you did.
I was battling with the backlash that I might receive, you know, and that sent me into an even deeper spiral because I was like, I don't know. Like, I knew people from high school, I knew people from varsity already, and I didn't know who was going to have something to say.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I posted the video with my parents backing me and praying for me and covering me and just inspiring me all the time, and spoke to one of our pastors, and she encouraged me to just say I ams. And in that time, that is what really fed me and what fed my self-image as well. So nonetheless, posted the video and threw my phone aside for 48 hours, did not look at a screen because I was so scared of the comments that would come after that, because I've seen videos where people post about their acne or even a little scar, and then they get tremendous
negative
backlash.
comments.
Yeah. And then they spiral into depression, and they don't really come back from that.
Yeah.
But I was blessed enough. God really, he ordained that moment for me because I was blessed enough to only receive, or majority, positive comments.
Wow.
And well, that video went viral. I posted another 2 videos. I got thousands of DMs every day. I got thousands of comments on those videos. And it was all about people saying that, thank you. Thank you for bringing light onto the subject that is so controversial, because everyone strives for an image of perfection. That is the beauty standard. And that's when I made it my goal to stand up against the norm of the beauty standards.
And break those stereotypes.
And break the mold, because everyone is made uniquely them.
Yes.
You know? So
Awesome. I love that you did that, and well done for being brave and even just documenting the journey, you know, even like you said, your intention was never really to go and put it on social media, but really just for yourself, so you can look back and see the progress. And I mean, look at you now, hey?
Sure.
Look
It's
at
been
you
a
now.
journey.
Look at you now. Like, I think you've got over 25,000 followers on TikTok and quite a few on Instagram as well. But how do you find, because I mean, this is now your career, it's turned into a career for you. And how's that journey been though? Because I know you've had your previous challenges with mental health, as you've mentioned. And how has the journey of being an influencer affected your mental health?
It's been a lot of pressure, especially with the platform. So I did the calculations the other day. It's over 33,000 people that are zoned in on my pages. So that to me was a lot of weight. At the time, I think it was about 20,000. And that was also, the weight was so heavy that I couldn't comprehend. And knowing that you have so much influence over people and how they can see themselves and how you can shape their image of self, that sent me into like a little cocoon, because I was like,
because then you feel like you just want to run.
Yeah, because it's so much responsibility. You feel like you have people's lives in the palm of your hand, for lack of a better way of saying it. But the journey itself, it's been inspiring. Yeah. But you do have those moments where you reach creative block or burnout. And
what do you do in those moments?
I switch my phone off.
Okay.
I don't post. This year I had, I think, 4 months. Yeah, we're in May. 4 months of not posting anything. My engagement went down.
Yeah.
My pages just went down. Yeah. Brands, I couldn't work with them. I've had to stop so many campaigns in its tracks just because I could not pick up my phone to film. And that's because of health reasons and all that goes with it, the mental health that goes with the health reasons as well. And I had to stop posting, stop working. And now that I'm back into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, my engagement's so low. How am I going to pick it up again? How am I going to... I'm basically starting from ground zero again, trying to rebuild a presence. Yes. Because you can have the followers, but not the impact, you know? Yeah. So keeping that relevancy was also a mind boggle because you have to constantly stay on trend. You have to constantly make your presence known in app. You have to constantly reinvent yourself, or rather not lose your messaging and your why, but think of ways to expand yourself and also grow with yourself, because I'm not the same creator I was in 2021.
You've evolved.
If I've evolved in terms of even lighting, you know, I used to post videos where I'm in a stained hoodie and my hair is a mess.
Yeah.
But now you end up caring about
More.
your presence.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, it comes back to beauty standards.
Yes.
You know, TikTok is a place where you come as you are, but not too much as you are.
Sure.
Because then we scroll.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just dealing with all of those questions, those different faces of being the creator, and also just trying to prioritize yourself and your mental health. Like I said, I switch my phone off. I don't post. I don't record. Yes, there will be aftermath, but I'll deal with it, because I'll rather be in a good space and deal with it than try and deal with it now and keep posting and keep trying to reinvent myself and be on trend and then reach burnout.
Yeah. But is it also, I think just listening to it, I'm thinking the importance of also understanding your why. Like with everything else in life, you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. So that you don't get sidetracked, because like with you, you've always wanted to. And I love the fact that you said even in your bio that for you it was always, you didn't want to conform to the norms of what beauty standards should look like. So I mean, if that's your why, to just always stay true to that. And I think that's one thing that I liked about you, is that you've always just been someone that was real.
Thank
you know,
you.
someone that you can relate to, you know, and I love that. I mean, and our youngsters need more of that. But I think for me, I'm not an influencer. I don't consider myself to be an influencer. But I think sometimes going onto social media is like, you go and I'm like, I'm going to post this, and you end up scrolling and you end up getting sidetracked. And it's like, how do you manage that though? Like manage your time, because now this is your career.
So my boyfriend actually taught me a very important lesson, but this was when we were still friends.
Yeah.
He used to do a to-do list, and I've adopted that now.
Yeah.
So even something as small as having breakfast, it goes on a to-do list. Something as small as filming, as editing, caption creating, creating a content bank, it all goes onto a to-do list so that I can see. I'm very type A. I still use pen and paper to plan my life. I can't use the digital. So I put everything into my diary, and as the day progresses, the more ticks I get on that paper or the more colorful that paper gets, I get happy and I feel like I've done something. I've accomplished something. So everything goes onto a to-do list, whether it's even scrolling, looking for inspiration. I recently filmed a lip campaign video and that was messing with my mind because I haven't taken a selfie in 4 months. So I couldn't figure out how to do that. And I was looking at so many inspiration videos on TikTok, but then I found myself trying to recreate videos that I've seen. So I had to block it out, delete the playlist I created of
So do you try and always be authentic?
Yes.
Like create your own, you don't try and copy what other people are doing?
No.
Yes.
Because if you're copying what someone else is doing, you're not being a creative. You're just following someone else's video and you're recreating what they've already created. So just, trying to tick off everything. Scrolling, I limited to 30 minutes per session. So I have like 3 30-minute sessions a day. And that would be for brainstorming, for bootcamp videos, so editing tutorials, whether it's a YouTube video, and then a podcast as well on YouTube. So something to fill me up again. You know, so an inspirational video, motivational, even just people talking about their process in the creator journey.
I like that because I think you're being intentional about your time on social media. You're not just sitting there scrolling and watching what everybody else is doing. And I think that's where it can become very negative for your mind and your wellness, because you're so focused on what everybody else is doing. You're kind of living through other people's lives as opposed to living your own.
And then you start comparing yourself to other people and you try to live their life. And I mean, I'm 22 and I started seeing people getting engaged and stuff, and they're in their 30s. You know, and you don't know their ages unless you actually do research on them. But you start feeling like you're behind in life. Or there was actually there was an increase or an influx of people getting engaged and married in this past year, and you're seeing it on your timeline all the time, and you're like, when is it my turn? And you have to stop and realize God's timing is the perfect timing. So if it was meant to happen, it would have happened, and it will happen, but in God's time. So that goes with anything, whether it's even just content creation. If you want to be a content creator and you're comparing your numbers to someone else or your editing style to someone else's, you don't know how many years or hours have gone into that person's creative style. So when you scroll and you find inspiration from their video and you try to recreate it, you don't know how much work was put into it. So you can't try and mimic it in an hour.
That's so good.
So that's why you have to find your reason, your editing style, your creative freedom, so that you can truly and authentically be you online.
I love that. And I think I like that, because ultimately, like you said, you're a creator, and the creator, you can't go and copy what everybody else is doing, you know? But what advice would you give to young, aspiring content creators wanting to go into this influencer journey?
I'm not going to give the typical, just prop your phone up and just start, because if you start that way, you're going to lose yourself. You need to know who you are and your why. Because if you know who you are, no one and no comments can tear you down, because there will be a point in time where you'll receive a negative comment. But if you don't know who you are and the image that you stand with, you're going to allow that negative comment to feed into you. And if you don't know your why, anyone can come and influence you. But you're supposed to be the influencer. So I've changed my way of thinking, and for years, people ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a content creator and an impactor, because influencer, in recent times, it has a negative connotation where it's just people posting brand campaigns and stuff. But an impactor has substance. They have purpose. They teach,
That's
so
beautiful. Okay. So you are a woman of impact. There we go. Love it. Our time is almost up. I can't believe it. It's like
went so quick.
It's been so quick, right? I just want to quickly touch on your new baby, Salt and Light. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a little exciting project that I've been working on. It came by fluke and just God's grace and God's creativity. So I have soft launched, because the product isn't out yet. But I've launched my pages for Salt and Light. It is a scent business. So I specialize in candles right now. Each candle, it's a Christian-based business, so each candle will represent a time and season in my life. I'm a very sentimental person, so journaling and everything has to have meaning for me. So I feel like it's very symbolic for me to release a line with the season I'm in. So my first line is milk and honey. It's a milk and honey scent, but the line is called Abundance, because I know, when you feel like you're being propelled into your next season, and milk and honey for me symbolizes the promised land. So it is based on that.
Awesome. So how can our viewers connect with you?
So you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Both my usernames are tc.fisher. And then I have a community as well on Instagram, which you can subscribe to, and we can chat on there. I would like to say that it's like our personal WhatsApp group, just with us. You can also DM me.
Beautiful. Any closing remarks?
Just be you. Be authentically you. Don't care what other people have to say about you, as long as you know your why, you know your image, and you know who God created you to be, because everyone has been made uniquely them. And if there was a duplicate of you, then why are you here?
Love it, love it, love it. Keep being you. We're loving you, and we love all that you stand for.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Powered Up Talk with me, Izal, and then also to our Instagram and Facebook. Thank you.